Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Event About It. Our guest this week is best known for turning small town charm and big city ambition into branding gold. Her itineraries always close deals and her branding is fully booked. Welcome to the studio, Julie.
Hello. Hi, Megan.
So glad to have you here.
I'm really happy to be here. This is crazy.
The first in-person studio live from Montana. So exciting. So first thing I want to dive into, you recently shared what inspired me, I'm sure inspired many, post on LinkedIn this month, 35 years in hospitality.
35 years.
Impressive. The burnout rate of this industry is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And so what has been sort of your favorite role? Because I could see you back in starting your career, cold calling, twirling the cord of your phone, sitting at your desk, which we don't have offices or corded phones anymore. So you've done hotel sales, destination sales. Have you had a favorite role?
I really have. Yeah. Where I've found my greatest pride, and my deepest love, which actually did cause a little bit of burnout, because when you love something a little bit too much, it does cause burnout. It was being the vice president of sales for Choose Chicago and leading the convention team there for, in total, I spent about 15 years with Chicago, but in that role specifically, it was a little bit over 6.
It's a lot. I mean, we're going to get into in the after show about tier one to boutique tourism and the difference you've had there, but
I loved the complexity of that job.
But it burned you out pretty quickly. I guess not quickly. If it was 6 years.
No, I always, I joke that when you work for Chicago, it's like dog years. So every year is like 7 years in any other industry. Because you have, not only do you have, the largest convention center in the country, you have a very competitive, well-established professional hotel community that has huge expectations, but you also have uber politics, and the politics do interface with the $7 billion travel and business, economic engine that makes up Choose Chicago.
Oh, so, right.
Yeah.
When I was on the planner side, I think I did 3 citywides through Chicago. One with a government agency, and man, the politics, even to bring a state government meeting to Chicago was quite the feat.
Yeah, I actually feel my heart starting to race with like getting excited talking about it, because it was complex and it was fun, and it was playing chess every day.
I think we've talked a little bit about that too, with like, especially being a very union heavy city, just the complexities of navigating that and the chess game that is union heads and figuring that out and working together to accomplish things as opposed to trying to fight the union.
Agreed. And I don't know if you want me to talk about that, but I will. When you are in a city that is heavily unionized, you not only have to drink the Kool-Aid, but you have to embrace and understand why union labor is important and the benefits of that in order to sell the value proposition to your customers. Because, when I look back at my time in Chicago, yes, sometimes there were additional costs due to labor and the additional costs associated with, being in a major first tier city. But the overall value in how quickly they could move a show in and move a show out and getting things done in an efficient manner paid off every time. It paid off every time. And it's just a matter of the representatives understanding that package and being able to deliver that and showing that value to customers. Because it really, I think it's an asset.
It certainly can be if you're willing to tap into the resources and the necessary evil, play the game a little bit for the greater good.
Agreed.
I love it. So now
it's so fun.
Now thinking back, what advice would you give your younger self?
So I started in the hotel business right out of college. So this was 1989. And I was young. And so when I think back, here I'm 35 years in the industry. I'm in the, twilight of 60. As a younger self, I would say make time for yourself a little bit more. Looking back, I would prioritize myself a little bit more than I did. Work always took a forefront and was always the priority. up until recently when I moved to Montana.
Yeah.
But it would be make sure you carve out time for your own interests and allow yourself as you go through life to develop interests outside of work.
I love that. Yeah. At first, a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, how come you're not prioritizing work? But I think it's actually a huge asset.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, I had a very early on mentor. Her name was Liz Erickson, and she was with Fairmont Hotels. And I remember sitting down with her in one of my first meetings after I joined Fairmont Chicago team. And she said, Julie, this is a lifestyle. Your customers are going to become your best friends, and you make relationships over dinner, not over lunch. And if you do this correctly, this industry will pay you back. And I will say some of my closest friends are former customers and colleagues. And I wouldn't have done it any other way other than I think I still would have carved out some weekends for myself.
Sure.
Maybe an aerobics class or two.
Yeah. Played some pickleball, and pickleball was a thing.
Maybe. Yeah. I've been
skied a little bit more.
Yeah. Made it to a couple of my son's lacrosse games.
Hey,
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
I love that advice. I think we can all take it. Okay, so a little bit of fun.
Yeah. Let's do it.
We're going to play a game called Tourism Tinder. So just like the app, we're going to swipe through some travel trends, destination gimmicks, and marketing madness. If you love it, you'll swipe right. If it's a hard pass, we're going to swipe left, just like a last-minute hotel cancellation.
Okay.
All right. So let's play Tourism Tinder. First up, pop-up igloo bars in warm cities.
Absolutely right. Sounds awesome.
Branded city scent candles.
Now left.
What would a Chicago scented candle smell like?
I wouldn't want to know.
I mean, a Montana scented candle would be delightful.
Oh, pine, fresh air. Yeah, absolutely. A menthol smell in the spring when everything's blooming. Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah.
Selfie station with giant hashtags.
Swipe right. I think that's always a fun. Any Instagram moment. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Drone light shows instead of fireworks.
Yes. Swipe right.
Okay. TikTok tours with local influencers.
I'm in the middle of the road. I can't swipe left or I can't swipe right. And the only reason why I say that is I've seen how influencers have changed brand perception in certain destinations, and it's not always for the benefit of the community.
I think your destination has seen that firsthand.
Yeah.
Haunted historical trolley rides.
Swipe right for the right destination.
Okay. What would be a right destination?
New Orleans.
Oh, yeah. That would be a good one.
Charleston.
Savannah. Some of those like old southern towns.
Yeah. Even I think, Chicago would be kind of cool. I think New York City would be kind of cool. Ghost towns in and around
Colorado. Denver has some great ghost towns.
Yeah.
QR code treasure hunts around the city.
Absolutely. Swipe right. People love gaming.
I agree. Augmented reality murals.
Swipe right. That could be a place where people are going. That's kind of cool. What do you think?
I just was at a conference last week that had virtual reality site visits set up. So it was a hotel brand, and you could go through a couple of their properties with a VR headset in the booth.
Yeah, I think that's where we're heading. It's going to be harder. Yeah, no, I'm swiping right.
I like it. And I think mural tours, too, are pretty cool. When I was in Denver, I went on a city tour that was through the Arts District, through all the alleys that had some of the beautiful murals. And it was, even being a local, it was a really cool experience because, I don't generally, travel down random alleys to see artwork. So it was cool.
And sometimes murals actually represent a cultural aspect to a destination that you don't see when you're in and out really quickly. So I actually like that idea as I think about it here even more than when we started talking.
And I think Houston has done some graffiti swag and things on some of the murals they have around their town. So I think it's an extended content piece too. Tourism ambassadors and mascot costumes.
I'm a left on that. I am.
Rebranding cities as wellness retreats.
I'm a swipe left on that, but I do believe that wellness is an important part of meetings and events. I think it's an important part of a visitor experience, and you have to speak to it. You just can't necessarily set your brand around wellness.
Agreed. I would agree with that. Flash mobs at visitor centers.
A blast. Swipe right.
Would you use a flash mob anywhere other than a visitor center?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Where else would you use the flash
And
mob?
actually, I would see it. So in Whitefish, there was a flash mob over Halloween, and it was hilarious. I don't even remember what it was entirely about other than just celebrating Halloween, but it was a group of zombie women that were dressed, and they flash mobbed at the tap house at a bar.
Amazing.
They flash mobbed on Central Avenue, our main strip, as well as they flash mobbed outside of City Hall. And the fun and the laughter, and they literally stopped everybody from moving and watched a 5-minute,
thriller.
It was a thriller kind of. It was really fun.
I mean, you guys,
and it really was fun.
Not to tangent, but you guys had one of the best April Fool's pranks.
Oh my God.
My Bravo heart was so over the moon. I knew it wasn't real immediately, but for those of you, check out Explore Whitefish's April Fool's joke. They announced that Bravo is bringing a Housewives franchise to Whitefish, and I think there were like 400 comments.
Oh, it was ridiculous
on the Facebook post or something.
It was Facebook.
Insane.
I think we ended up with close to 4,000 comments, and we had over, I want to say it was ridiculous, like 8,000 shares. And then on Instagram, we had over 3,000 engagement likes, and I think we had close to 500 comments, and 50% of them were negative. Like, people just didn't understand the joke. Yesterday, we had to say, April Fools, this was a joke. We had media calling us, asking us about the schedule and how they could get in touch with the show and the producers in order to do a story. And we're like, oh my God, it was an April Fool's joke. Like, it was.
I love it so much. I knew it was a joke immediately.
I know, but our poor media manager, she completely lost it on April 1st. She's like, okay, Julie, this is nuts.
I knew it was a joke immediately from the outfits of the women.
Oh, right.
Like, they were not dressed like Whitefish women.
My face flushing even talking about it, because I think I pushed it a little bit too hard on that. We came up with the idea of coffee.
That was so great. I loved every minute of it. Okay, back to the game. Last two. Work from here campaigns targeting remote workers.
Swipe left.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wine tastings in abandoned warehouses or unique spaces.
Swipe right. Love it.
Yeah, I think that's a cool way to show like unique areas of the town.
Yeah.
All right. My favorite segment of the week, it's therapy session with Vent of the Week. This is where we let it all out. The event fails, unexpected chaos, and those are you kidding me moments. No filter, no sugarcoating, real talk. What is venting you about the events world? Tourism, events, whatever it may be.
So it's really been an interesting, and I know we've talked about this, but it's been a very interesting transition for me, going from urban destinations to now a small mountain town with a residential community of just under 9,000 people.
I think there were probably 9,000 people in your neighborhood in Chicago.
I think there were more. The convention center could accommodate over 100,000 people. Right. So just the center itself. So from the meetings and convention aspect, and what I would vent about in regards to that is very different than the world I'm living in now. Yeah. And one of the biggest venting areas that I have right now that I deal with pretty much on a daily basis is really truly validating why it's important to manage tourism and why destinations like Whitefish or Jackson Hole or different places like that, where you do have a ski culture, you're a mountain town, you have fragile wild spaces, it's becoming incredibly expensive for people to live, why it's important to have beneficial and truly sustainable tourism management. And it is a regular struggle, even within Montana and the legislation here, to explain we might be really busy 3 months out of the year when Glacier National Park, which is right down the street from us, is in full bloom. But 9 months out of the year, we really struggle. Yeah. So we have to manage those disruptors associated with the warm season when we do get millions of visitors. But then 9 months out of the year, in order to really have a thriving economy, you have to build experiences that are desirable to people to come and visit in order to fill the number of hotels that are necessary and the number of seats we have in restaurants. There really is a lack of understanding that tourism needs to be managed, and it needs to be managed appropriately, beneficially, and with community in mind. So it's essentially like you're keeping an economy thriving while you're still protecting culture, community, and your wild spaces. And that's been really, really, like, every day hitting my head up against a wall.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in the after show, moving from like a tier one, very group heavy, not that there's not tourism and leisure travel that goes through Chicago, but it's far different than it
completely
is here,
remarkably
right?
Different. Yeah, it's been fun, actually.
We're going to get into sort of some of the differences from that tier one to a boutique destination. And, I love the tourism because I don't have to pay as many taxes. So, like, come here, spend all your money, but then go home.
Yeah.
And, love it or hate it, Yellowstone isn't a great show, but I think it definitely gave a very weird narrative around tourism in the state and how that goes and how to manage it properly. Yeah. And like, it does have to be managed because
it does need to be managed.
Someone has to be looking at that. And especially a state as large as Montana with so many destinations. Yeah. I think Colorado probably and Wyoming probably face a lot of the similar issues.
So many of the small towns just don't have the infrastructure built. And I think it was probably, week 3 in this role that I started to realize that while our community and our infrastructure is based on 9,000 to 10,000 people in total, traffic, the road structure, what our restaurants, what our grocery stores can handle is built. That infrastructure is built there. What our fire department can handle, but in the summer months, we might have an additional 25 to 30,000 people sleeping in town or finding a place to camp.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's hard on the community.
Yeah. I mean, that goes into my biggest event always working with destinations was the economic impact reporting. Yeah. And one of these days I'm going to invent my own economic impact report and you guys can't hoard my data about what my shows are worth. But another topic for another day. But I think those conversations are really important. And you said it does have to be managed.
It does.
Yeah. Frustrating for sure. Going from a very group heavy destination to a leisure heavy. Yes. Different types of management. Yeah. All right. Last up.
Yes.
The event about it.
Okay.
You've been in the industry 35 years.
35 years.
You've seen a lot of shows. Yep. You've traveled a lot. Give us a crazy story, the craziest thing you've seen. Maybe it didn't happen to you. Maybe it happened to a friend. The craziest thing that's ever happened at a show.
So I've had a lot of crazy. And just to give you a couple crazy, 9/11, Graph Expo, or actually was it Graph or was it Print? I can't remember which show it was, but we had about 40,000 people in the building at McCormick Place. And the world stopped and people couldn't leave McCormick Place. We started hearing that the Sears Tower was, one of the targets, and managing the chaos, the concern, the fear, keeping people located in McCormick Place while the show stopped. That was crazy. That was just absolutely insane. Having union workers walk off before a major show opens. That was chaos. That was crazy. And trying to keep the director of meetings or the CEO of an association or with the convention customer, like keeping them calm was chaos. But really, truly the craziest experience that I ever had in my 35 years. I did a very short stint in Hawaii. I was there. I wasn't even there more than a year and a half. And I actually took that job to spend more time with my kids because I was unable to work remotely in Chicago. So I actually took that job so I could work from home. But I was doing
which wasn't a thing then.
Which wasn't a thing then. No, it wasn't.
A thing like
it wasn't because this was, I don't even 2008 maybe. Yeah. Anyway, we were doing a FAM, and as with so many FAMs, sometimes you go out, you indulge a little bit, you drink too much. And trying to manage a group of you've got 12 people that are exploring Hawaii and enjoying themselves and drinking Mai Tais and having a great time. And it was our final night, but we were staying at a hotel on Waikiki Beach. And a few of us probably engaged a little bit more than we should have in some in some beverage fun. And at 2:00 in the morning, I had a knock on my door, and it was one of the customers, and he was panicked. And I opened the door, and he was completely naked. He's like, "Julie, let me in. Julie, let me in. Security's chasing me." And I just quickly let this naked man in my room. I shut the door, and I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, "I woke up in the hall and I was naked and security started chasing me." And the next morning, as a representative of the Hawaii Convention Center, I had to talk to security at that hotel as to what happened, and that it wasn't somebody that they had to be worried about. That was the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. A knock at 2:00 in the morning, naked man who happens to be a customer.
So many questions.
Embarrassing
on how this happens. I mean, not embarrassing for you, embarrassing for your customer.
Oh my God. But things happen. And actually, we did book the meeting, so it's all good.
I mean, then it was all worth it, right? Maybe he was so embarrassed for showing him.
It's a little bit too much to drink and maybe an Ambien involved.
Those sleeping pills will get you every time, right? I mean,
I think you might have to cut this from the podcast.
No, this is the best story we've had so far. Definitely not getting cut. Yeah, so many questions, but I don't think that's the first or last time that's probably ever going to happen at a show.
I agree.
I have this secret fear always that I'm in a robe or in my underwear and I'm opening the door to put room service out in the hall for them to pick up, and the door's going to close behind me, and then I'm going to be naked in the hallway because I can't get back in my room. Oh my God. Amazing story. Well, that's all we have for Event About It today. Thank you for joining us and tuning in to the event mishaps that we're turning into marketing gold. Make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and share this with somebody who needs a good laugh. Head over to eventaboutitpodcast.com to send us your events and your stories to be featured on a future episode. And while you're there, join the Square Squad where you can access bonus content, engage with our guests, and even catch the after show where Julie and I are going to be talking about the peaks and valleys of the sales roller coaster, navigating uncertain times, and the power of creating beautiful moments. So until next time, keep growing, keep laughing, and definitely keep eventing about it.